Taking a look at what's made in America. A manufacturing plant based in St. Joe, Michigan is geared toward producing parts for electric vehicles, such as that multi-billion-dollar area of electric batteries. Tim Tate, the managing director of Edgewater Automation, is joining us now. Tim, good to have you here. How is your automation manufacturing migrating into electric car part production?
Our natural tendency is to play in the automotive space, and you see the world is moving in that direction. I mean, by 2030, they want to change the world and have most of the cars on the road be EV. So if we're gonna stay in the automation world, we have to work in that space and work in that platform.
Bring us up to date with the chip shortage, because you need semiconductors to do what you do. How are you navigating the supply chain issues?
You know what, I tell you, it's been a challenge. But at the same time, I think in some cases we've seen a little bit of an improvement. When we hit 2020, right in the COVID timeframe, it was really hard. We had some vendors that positioned themselves very well in the market, and they were still able to get components when others weren't. So we had to leverage those relationships. But it was challenging because a lot of times our customers were driving what they wanted, and they were still speccing out the same parts that we were all used to getting all the time. And we couldn't do that anymore. Just to be successful, to meet their timeline, you had to navigate, and you had to use different suppliers. You had to use different components. We had to get concessions to be able to use those components if we wanted to meet the production demands. It was a real challenge.
What's happening with hiring? Is this a challenge for you? Do you need skilled workers? And are you giving more Americans an opportunity to get a job that perhaps could start a lifelong career?
Yeah, you know what? It has been a challenge. That's a great question, because that's something I'm pretty passionate about. The skills gap that's been created by taking the technical training out of the vocational schools has created that gap. And people that were my generation that learned this trade from the older senior guys that taught us how to build machines and be tool makers, we've all moved on into new roles and, into management roles and project management roles and engineering roles. So there's a gap from generation to generation now. And that's been a difficult thing to navigate, because the generation that taught me and brought me up into this trade is now retiring and moving on. And there's not a level above me and then below me that there's a bigger gap, because a lot of us have moved on. So you're constantly trying to train your people from within, but hiring, you're looking for those kids that, they don't have to be an A and a B student. They could be a C and D student. They just might not be learning math the same way the A and B student is in a high school. If you can frame math and make it fit their world, why it's important when they're working on an engine or where they're working on their tractor, those kind of kids are the ones that we're looking for. Those kids that have the hands-on skills that aren't really, they're not going to go to a 4-year college. They don't need to go to a 4-year college, because they can be successful in this trade. There's many, many opportunities. Once you get into this trade, the sky's the limit. Myself, Angie, I don't have a college degree, and I've gone all the way from being a machine builder all the way through project management and management. And those are the kind of kids that will be successful in this trade.
What's next for your company?
So our company's always been a company of growth. We'll continue that. We'll continue that pattern. We want to grow. We want to train and hire smart, talented people. We want to continue just being a culture that cultivates family, and gives people a good environment where they can use their talent and foster that to help others below them become good at what they do.
We want to thank you for sharing your Made in America story with us. We wish you the best.
Yeah, it's been great. I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you guys.
Go to businessfirstam.com for where to see our show on TV.